Well, I'm very happy to have my next guest join us. It's always good to meet up with folks from the Bay. She just dropped a brand new project called Everywhere I Go, There I Am. It is Olivia O'Brien. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. It's a little early at the time of this shooting for a lot of people. Is this hour of the day normally a good time for you, or are you a morning person?
Yeah, I'm okay with mornings. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a morning person at all, but like, I've found that getting up at any time is hard. It doesn't matter if I sleep until 3 p.m. or wake up at 7. Like, I just hate getting out of bed. So once I get out of bed, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we're shooting this in LA, and like I said, it's always good to meet up with folks from the Bay Area and whatnot. I mean, I know Napa and Sonoma and those parts don't usually get considered, but
it's, if you Google the Bay Area, Napa County is one of the counties in the Bay Area.
That's true.
So
yeah.
The closest city to me growing up was, I mean, I just got back from San Francisco yesterday actually, but the closest city to me growing up was San Francisco. So
Yeah.
anything that I mean, there's nothing to do in Napa as a kid. So anything that I did, I went to the city. So
Yeah.
I count as a Bay Area.
Yeah, I count you as one.
Thank you.
What were you doing up there?
My sister is engaged, and so we went wedding dress shopping.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Mm-hmm. As a performer and someone who has this artistic ability, have there been favors being called in terms of providing some entertainment?
No, my
whatnot?
sister actually is like a much better singer than I am, and her fiance, future husband, he also is a really amazing musician, guitar player, so they're probably going to do their own music. Like, they're going to probably, my sister definitely does not want me to like sing at her wedding. Absolutely not. No, I think her and her fiance are going to probably do like their own little musical number.
Really?
And they're going to have a DJ also, but.
Wow. It's been a while. We last spoke eons ago, I think 2018, I think you were saying, right?
18 or 19.
It was actually around the album release.
Yeah, so I think that was 2019, because that album came out April or May of 2019, I think. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it was a big show at the Great American. And
yeah.
Family and friends and all that stuff, and things were crazy at that show.
Yeah.
And a lot of things were starting to bubble up and really take off. And then the pandemic happened and all that stuff. And then things went really crazy. And I find it really fascinating because a lot of different artists have gone through the highs and the lows of virality. And you, in my opinion, has had a different experience because you were already on that trajectory. And then, this whole TikTok thing happened and then it went to another level. Looking back, do you wish that you might have just hoped or wished that you would have stayed on the traditional path?
I just don't think there is a traditional path anymore, really. I mean, like, yeah, kind of, but I feel like that's so much more rare. I feel like every smaller artist that has a song randomly blow up, it's because people found it on the internet. I mean, we're all on our phones 24/7. Even older songs I'll find from someone making a video on TikTok. I'm like, oh, I really like that song, and I'll go and save it. Like, everything is that nowadays. So, I mean, whether we like it or not, there's not really the traditional way of the music industry is just obsolete.
Well, first of all, with this project, what was the catalyst for starting something like this? Because it's very revealing and very raw and vulnerable.
I don't really know if there was one specific catalyst. I think, because one of the songs is 2.5 years old. I wrote it in July of 2022. So, I can't even say that was the beginning of the project because I didn't have any concept. I hadn't conceptualized the project at all.
What song was that?
How Would I Know? Yeah, so that one's pretty old. I mean, I went in with my producer that I did all the other songs with and did some like harmonies and just added some stuff production-wise to it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really even think about what this project was until about a year ago, when I started working with Jackson Daywave, who did all the songs, and
Jackson Phillips.
Yeah, and I just really liked working with him, and we wrote my song Blip. That was on my last project. That was the first song we made, and then we wrote Lower, and then All the Time, I think, and then Paradoxymoron. think that was the order. And I just really liked what we were doing, and I just kept writing, and I realized that I had all these songs I wanted to put out that were kind of about romantic love, and then a lot of these songs that were more introspective and about my own personal experience and my internal struggles that have nothing to do with anyone else or anything. And I felt like it just wasn't the right thing to have those songs all be on a project together, because they're just about such different things. And I don't want to say that one kind of pain or struggle is deeper than another, but it just felt weird to put like songs about, you know, wanting someone to like you on the same project as songs about like wanting to kill yourself. I just felt like there was a disconnect there.
Yeah.
So I separated it into two kind of subject matters, and that was how it came about.
When writing the song in 2022 and then putting this project together in 2024, there's a lot of growth that happens, and also introspection and analysis, and I'm sure therapy is involved as well. Where do you draw the line? How do you delineate what you share on TikTok, what you share with family, close ones, and then this is a project? Seems to be blurred.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I ever even think too deeply about like what specifically I'm going to share with what groups of people. I think from very early on, I kind of set the precedent that I share everything. And, you know, sometimes I think, sometimes I wonder if I'm being too personal online, and if that's not helpful to me, if it's detrimental to my own well-being to share that much and to have people be able to judge me. Because it's like, no matter what you do on the internet, people are going to think they know who you are and know about you because they just develop a parasocial relationship with you, and everyone sees people through their own lens, and they project onto you however they feel about themselves, whatever. I'm aware of that. But when the more you share, the more people think they know you, because you're sharing what seems like the most intimate details of your life. But in reality, they still only know like 0.0000001% of my actual life and who I am. So I've struggled a lot with kind of deciding how I want people, how I want to present myself online, and how that's going to affect people's perceptions of me or my perception of myself. It kind of sometimes muddies the water of like how I even see myself. And it's weird because I do feel like I kind of owe my listeners and the people that relate to my music, I feel like I do owe them honesty and an open dialogue, and I know that I have helped people with my music, and even just with being vulnerable online. I get messages all the time from people saying that I really helped them, so I want to keep doing that. So it's weird and it's hard, and I try not to think too much about it, because then I just won't post anything at all, or I'll overthink and I'll delete stuff, which I often do anyway. But I think I just try to feel in the moment if something is really almost like calling me to share it, and I feel like people can relate and people might need to hear that message, then I'll share.
It's interesting because there's a difference, obviously, between the personal experiences that you go through, like your house being broken into, which was terrible, versus going out for a birthday party with your friends and just having a fun night, and maybe having your heart broken and you're just emoting, and everybody can relate to that on a live stream and whatnot. But then the songs that come out of it, okay, I remember when she talked about this, so I can connect the dots there. And I'm fascinated by those that are just so, that have the strength to share such personal, deep emotions like you do, and then pivot and then say, okay, I'm gonna, take some of those thoughts and write music out of it. So that's why I'm very curious about the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna go live, and then next thing you know, you're pouring your whole heart out. You didn't intend to, perhaps, but then it just devolves into that.
Yeah. It's weird because it is, like, I don't know most of these people, like, they don't know me really, but we kind of have a sense that we know each other, and I feel oddly comfortable and comforted by these random strangers. And I like to have conversations with people and hear what they have to say. So it's strange, and it's something obviously as just human beings in general we've never navigated before, because social media is still new in the grand scheme of humanity. It's like this on the calendar of, I don't know how long people have been around, but yeah, it's weird. I don't think there's any like proper way to navigate it, and there's no rules really. It's just kind of however you feel. And like, I know it sounds silly to say that I feel called to post things and called to like say things, but it really does feel like I know, okay, someone needs to hear this, or I have something to say and I just need to say it. It's like a feeling that I have, which is like so silly to say that social media is like
been helpful to help you release these emotions at that moment.
Yeah, it seems like something that's so surface level, but it's really not, you know.
And it's cheaper than a therapist.
Yeah.
Especially with a song like All the Time, I think that's a window into what life is like in LA and Southern California, Hollywood and all that stuff. And yeah, one drink won't hurt and one pill won't hurt and all these things.
Yeah, I mean, I've also seen it with, you know, family members, and I think it affects people everywhere, but definitely, it's definitely prevalent in LA, obviously. There's a lot of people that just, I mean, partying, and it's just part of the entertainment industry culture, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, that song is just something that I've just seen over and over and over again. It's just a pattern that I kept recognizing, and it was obviously scary. So.
Is that a personal song, or is that an observational song? Or
no, it was more. It was definitely more observational. Like my mom, growing up, my mom would always tell me, like, we have addiction in our family. We have addiction in our family. So I like that was just so ingrained in me, and I really have watched out for the signs within myself my whole life, just because I've seen what addiction can do, and how it can tear families apart and lives apart, and obviously people die. It's horrible. So, and I've with a lot of friends, I've seen a lot of people have really bad eating disorders and just basically destroy their own bodies and lives, and it's really upsetting. And I've tried really hard to recognize whenever I'm having negative thoughts or having just negative patterns. Like if I'm partying too much, I'll like really make a point to stop. And like I was sober for 3 months last year from like in the springtime. And I just did it because I just wanted to. I wanted to see if I could, because I realized that drinking and partying was such a big part of my culture and my friend group, and just the social world that I was in. It was just like, it is basically the culture. Like, and when you take it out of the picture and you start going out and not drinking, and you see everyone around you drinking, you realize how prevalent it is. Even though you know that it's prevalent, you don't even really realize the full extent of it until you take it away and you're like, oh my God, like none of this stuff is fun unless you're drunk. All of the things we do every single night, like the partying, it's really just not fun. And a lot of people, it's like, okay, you can go out and maybe like we're dancing or we're doing karaoke or whatever. Those are fun like activities. But a lot of the time you go out and people are just sitting around and they're only having fun because they're drunk. And just realizing that, I don't know, it's obviously really scary. So yeah, I've taken steps to make sure that I don't fall into those patterns, just because I'm very, very aware of it. And I think that made me even more aware of it.
Have you thought about how you started in this business at such a young age that you might not have been prepared for it, and that as you were growing and your brain is developing, that it wasn't prepared for that, so therefore you just kind of, not that you are that type of person, but just went with the flow?
Yeah, no, I absolutely wasn't prepared for it. I didn't even finish high school. I moved to LA when I was 16, and I was going to the club. Like, obviously you have to be 21 to go to the club. I was going to the club. I was hanging out with a bunch of people that were way older than me. Like everyone was drinking, doing drugs around me. Like, I mean, I was drinking obviously too, but yeah, I really wish that someone had protected me and stopped me from being in those circles when I was young, because it's scary. I look back and I'm like, I can't believe Personally, I'm about to be 25. I would never hang out with a 16-year-old ever. Like maybe as a mentor or something. I would never go to the club. If I went to the club, if I went to a bar, if I went to a party and there was a 16-year-old drinking,
Right.
Are you kidding me? Like I would call the police. I'm sorry. That's not like, yeah, 16-year-olds, obviously teenagers are going to drink, whatever. If they want to do that, it's kind of going to happen. Do it with other 16-year-olds.
Right.
Don't be with all these adults it's so scary. It's so scary that was so normalized and so enabled. Like I had all of these people around me that were my age too, that we would go out and they would give us fake IDs. Like the people that work at these bars and these clubs, they go and they like give you fake IDs that they like confiscated from someone else so that you can get into the place. It was ridiculous. And just, I don't know if that still happens today. I'm sure it does. I don't know if it's as much because I think a lot of it has kind of been exposed with now we have a lot more social media than we even did when I was that age. And we still, obviously we had Instagram and stuff, but people weren't talking about things as openly as they are now. Now it's like, you just can get away with a lot less because people are going to talk about it and people are starting to realize when people talk to each other about it and they make a video, everyone's like, oh my God, that is wrong. And like people are just more educated and more aware of how certain things are wrong. At the time, I didn't know it was wrong. I thought I was really mature and I was awesome and all these guys that were interested in me, it's just because I'm really mature for a 16-year-old. It's like so scary.
Yeah.
So scary looking back. And yeah, as soon as I turned like 20, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I was 16, 17, 18. I was still not even legally probably allowed to go to the club at that point. And I was like,
You weren't even legal.
Yeah, no.
Right?
No, yeah, but it's even, yeah, I can't believe the things that happened. So definitely don't recommend going to a 16-year-old.
You definitely grew up fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever wish that you might have moved out, even to San Diego or somewhere that has a little bit more stability and away from the glitz and glam?
No, because I think that I used to be one of those people that said like, oh, I hate LA, everyone's fake. And it's like, it's just the entertainment industry. It's just this like one little cove. It's this one little club of people. And I think no matter where you are, you can find people that, you know, align with your morals and values and are normal and chill and kind and caring. And I've really found some amazing people and amazing friends. And I don't feel like I am falling into any weird stuff. I don't have any like fake friends or people that are out to get me or people that I feel like don't have my best intentions. Like because of my experiences when I was younger, I'm really good at telling who's who and what people want from me. And I immediately, like as soon as I meet someone, I can tell just by like their intonation and the way they're talking to me, what their intentions are. And if I'm going to get along with them, I just know. I just have a sixth sense for these things now. So, I really don't think it's about geographically where I am. I think it's just the people I have around me. And I'm really lucky to have good people around me. And I don't feel like I'm really in the scene as much anymore, which I think is a good thing. But, you know, there's also things that come with that. Like if you're friends with all those people and they'll post you and then you're getting into all these things. And I was definitely in that for a while, and I fell kind of into like the YouTuber world, and like a lot of my friends still do social media, but a lot of my friends have switched to like cooking content, you know. It's like we're all kind of just adults now and like more normal. We don't really go out, and we got it all out of our system when we were really young, so which is, I guess, a positive and a negative.
So a lot of the music on this project is very much centered around this self-reflection and you know, the highs and the lows. Do you think that now that kind of this is out, that a more stable, happy Olivia is coming?
No, definitely not.
Why not?
I don't know. I've been dealing with kind of the same things since I was like 11. I have OCD. I have like persistent depression, obviously. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be there's always periods of time where I feel better and then periods of time where I feel worse. So yeah, I think it's something that I'm going to have to deal with my whole life.
How do you want this music to be presented and and consumed? Does this involve live performances, touring, or is that something that is a little anxiety-inducing and something you're not prepared for?
No, I would do some live stuff. I don't really have any plans for it currently, but it would obviously be different than shows I've done in the past where I'd had a little bit more, I don't even know if it was necessarily much happier of a subject matter, but a lot of the stuff was more produced out, more upbeat, or maybe angry versus sad. So yeah, it would just have to be the right circumstance. I feel like I would want to do more intimate kind of shows and stripped back, maybe just more organic performances overall. Like I would love to add some more band members to play, like maybe get a bass player or other instruments just to maybe like even like a backup vocalist or something, just all more organic stuff and less tracks. And I would love to do different arrangements of some of my older songs to kind of sonically make more sense with what I do now. Just play it on its actual instruments instead of tracks, like I said. So I think that would be cool. I don't know.
The music's been very well received. There have been a lot of great comments I'm sure you've seen in terms of relatability. So I would think that a lot of people would want to see this live, have a conversation with you and listen to you, tell an anecdote prior to playing a song and whatnot. So does that give you, I mean, me saying that, does that give you some solace, some confidence in that, okay, there's this pocket of joy that I can experience and to take you away from the negative feelings?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think you're doing great, and
Thanks.
I'm very happy that you're releasing music. I think that's kind of, again, something that allows you to emote, get some of these thoughts and feelings out, and then for fans to say, okay, she's doing all right, and she's letting this out, and I have some of these thoughts, or I can understand her more, and to connect more. So, and I certainly wish you the best of luck with everything. I mean, being an independent artist is not the easiest thing in the world, but nowadays you don't, like we said, need a big label to, force feed people.
Yeah.
People are there.
Well, it's tough because, when you're with a label, there still are a lot of benefits, like the relationships they have, and yes, they're taking all of the money from the songs that you make, but then they have all of this money because of that to give you these resources and all of that. So it's like, I can release a bunch of music and I can make more money off of it percentage-wise, but it's like people aren't necessarily going to know that I released the music because I don't have the same resources. So like I was getting comments the other day from people that are like, oh my God, I didn't even know you released a project. I didn't even know you released the last project. I haven't seen your stuff in so long. Like, well, yeah. Right. So it's kind of the downside of doing it by yourself, but
you have a great group of people around you. So, and you got me in our platform. I will do everything I can to get the word out. I mean, a girl from the Bay needs her representation and the attention, especially someone as talented as you.
Thank you.
Great to catch up with you.
Yeah, you too.
Really appreciate the time.